Halftime here in Minnesota, Nebraska trailing 3-0, Elijah, and it's a situation of limited opportunities for Nebraska. Minimal plays in the first half. Minnesota 6-9 on third down, but that interception in the end zone by Nebraska, points left on the field. Nebraska had a chance at the half-inch line to take a lead going into half. Instead, they'll come out trying to do something with it offensively, but a pretty tough game for Nebraska, except for Sims running the ball.
Yeah, and Schmidt, I'm not sure how well you could see it in the stadium up in the press box, but from the TV angle, Gabe Ervin was in the end zone. His knees were both in the air. The elbow came down. The ball was in the end zone. They don't get it right. It was not indisputable video evidence. Therefore, the call stands. That's going to hurt. But really, at the end of the day, Nebraska should be on top of this football game. I know there's a lot of Husker fans out there feeling discouraged by the first half. Maybe it wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing half of football I've ever seen. But when you come down to it, Nebraska, they struggled offensively. They started to find a rhythm because Jeff Sims, with his legs, it was the danger of the running attack of Jeff Sims really stresses that Minnesota defense. They're not going to be able to play too much man coverage in the second half, and that's really given Nebraska fits with the wide receivers being unable to get any separation. They're not going to be able to run as much man with the threat of Jeff Sims, and they're going to have to leave a defender most likely to spy Sims. So Nebraska has some opportunities offensively to get some things done. We'll see what kind of halftime adjustments they have. And defensively, you got to get off the field on third down, but I think you got to feel encouraged by how many times you forced Minnesota into third and long. It wasn't a perfect first half of football by any means. It's never going to be in a coach's first game as head coach, but at the end of the day, I think you got to look at that and say, you know what? For a first game for Matt Rhule to say that he should be in the lead at halftime, you have to feel decent.
Well, and, worried if you're a Nebraska fan after that first quarter when it came to time of possession, just one offensive possession, just 3 total possessions in that first quarter. The end of the first half took longer, it feels like, than the first half. But right now, if you're Nebraska, I guess silver lining, beer being half full, no points given up, and you're -2 in the turnover battle. You're right about the man coverage. The key is going to be here. Can Sims make some completions? If he's got zone coverage, can he find time? I thought Nebraska's pass rush was okay defensively in the first half. Callie McManus did some nice work on some 3rd and 9s, but Nebraska able to get off the field eventually. Bushimi, nice work by him. That 60-yard punt really flipped the field in the first half. So for Nebraska, Coach Rhule's talked a ton about the middle 8, right? The 4 minutes leading into halftime, the 4 minutes coming out of halftime, that middle part of the ball game. Nebraska gets the football only down 3. I thought Nebraska's run defense has been pretty salty. Just a couple of good gains on first down on the counters by Minnesota, but for the most part, minimal yards by Minnesota's rushing attack. Sims is going to have to stabilize here with his passing game, and Nebraska will continue to lean on him running the football. A lot of in some of the mentions with some of my friends in group text, a lot of Jamal Lord comparisons with his athleticism when it comes to running the football. But we'll see how Nebraska responds. Elijah down 3-0 at half. Could be worse, could be better. They had a great opportunity. And again, that invisible force field still exists in this south end zone at the goal line for Nebraska.
Schmidt, as we said pregame, it's a rock fight. It's a fist fight. Who's going to be the last one standing? That's going to be the question. And I'll give you one reason for encouragement and one reason for discouragement. Encouragement, with that last drive, Nebraska got up to 99 rushing yards in the game. And Sims by himself has 81 rushing yards. That's halfway to Matt Rhule's metric of 200 rushing yards per game. So we'll see if that trend is able to keep up. But the rushing attack, I feel decent about, especially with Minnesota being a little limited in what they can do defensively. Sign of worry is obviously the third down efficiency for that Nebraska defense. Can he get off the field? Callie McManus has been a little better than expected in terms of his ability to pick apart the Nebraska defense. I think the pre-snap motion's really been helping Minnesota as well. I'll have to go back and check the film after the game, but they seem to give Nebraska some fits there. Led to a lot of wide open throws for Callie McManus. He's able to hit his receivers. That's worrisome moving forward, but I really like what Nebraska has in terms of being able to control the ball, control the clock, and get a rushing attack going. I don't feel terrible at the first half. I'm not going to sit here and guarantee Nebraska wins this game in the second half, but they're going to be in a position, I believe, in the fourth quarter to at least give themselves a chance to win and be the last man standing.
Well, can Nebraska get some run game going with their running backs? Offensive line's not had much going up the middle. 4 total penalties, 2 really costly penalties for Nebraska on that false start on the quarterback sneak. That's Elijah Herbel, Chris Schmidt. Join us, Real Red Reaction, immediately following Nebraska-Minnesota on KFOR.